one very important point has emerged during my online interactive session with the candidates. And the point is that a lot of candidates are carrying out practice of psychological tests on various social media platforms. One candidate would put a picture or write a word or post a SRT, and candidates try and give a reply to that. Now, I would like to highlight that this kind of a practice actually kind of corrupts your mind. And when you land up at the SSB, your mind is kind of cluttered with so many inputs that you tend to get confused. And many times you are not aware as to why you're writing that response. And the image that you portray of yourself through the psych dossier is the one of a confused person. So please remember that such a practice can be counterproductive for you. Now, I would also like to highlight that these words or these SRTs and pictures are not some random ones. These stimulus are picked up by psychologists who are kind of scientists posted in the Defense Institute of Psychological Research, who arrange these stimuli in a particular order to draw out certain inputs or inferences about your personality attributes. So these are not some random words that you have to just keep practicing. Some of you may not even know that whatever cuttings that you make when the psychologist is checking your dossier, many times he uses a magnifying glass to check out as to why this candidate had made this cutting and what was the first thought that came to his mind and why did he change it to this. So that becomes an input for the psychologist as well. So you must know that this is not really a random academic test, but through this your personality is being gauged. And unless you know what is being seen by the psychologist in you, and unless you know what is the rationale of these tests, and unless you know how to approach these tests and how you must write them so that you present yourself in an acceptable manner, only then carrying out self-practice will have some meaning. So I would like to highlight this with the help of a few examples. Now let's say there is an SRT which says that he used to go for an evening walk or after dinner walk and his father did not like it. Now you must understand what is it that is being seen by the psychologist when he asks you this. He wants to see your interpersonal relations with your father. He wants to see your tact in dealing with an elder. He wants to see your logical reasoning that you would present to explain why you're doing this. He's looking at you as a person who's self-reliant and a confident person. So if a candidate simply writes that he agreed or listened to his father and stopped going for the evening walk, now that would naturally show that the person is on the defensive or he's a meek person and he feels that this is wrong. He has no mind of his own. However, if you would have written the same response to say that he explained to his father the benefits of after dinner walk and requested him to accompany him from the next day onwards. So this would show that the person is open to interaction with his father. He shares a good bond with him. It also shows that this person has a logical mind. It shows that he is his own man. He is not a person who is meek. So various inputs about this personality is being seen through this particular response. So similarly, let's say there is a word, thief. So once again, the word is given to you to check out that when it triggers a negative thought in your mind, how would you put it down on the paper? Now, if you would simply write a factual information, which is very, very ordinary, for example, a thief must be punished. Now, this you could have written when you were in maybe 4th standard. So it does not show your mental age. So if you would like to give same observation to say that the punishment to a thief must be corrective and not punitive. Now it is the same thought, but you've been able to convey a better observation. Similarly, if you were to give a factual information, it can't be a very ordinary information which is not which should match with your own maturity and your own age. So the information to say that theft of Mona Lisa from Louvre Museum in 1911 was a historic one. So now it is a special information that you've given about, or a factual information which you've given about something which requires some amount of awareness. So similarly, let's say there is an abstract word like bankruptcy. Now, once again, they've given you this word to see that can your mind create some kind of an observation out of an abstract word. So how do you connect with this word? Now, somebody, if he is just giving a factual information everywhere, it may not be appropriate. So if you would say that bankruptcy of imagination leads to restricted flow of ideas. Now, although the observation is nice, but then it has a negative tinge. Now, to remove this negative tinge, if you were to make the same sentence to say that how would you eradicate bankruptcy of ideas, that is how it will become a better observation. If you say that cultivating imagination will prevent bankruptcy of flow of ideas, so now it becomes a positive observation. So similarly, there are pictures which are given to you through which certain attributes of your personality are being seen. So unless you know how must you approach this, and unless you know what is going to be seen by the assessor when he checks this particular response of yours, only then self-preparation has some meaning. So please make sure that you do not mindlessly keep practicing psychological tests without understanding the rationale, because in which case your errors of thinking will get compounded, and naturally it will be counterproductive, and rather than benefiting you, it will actually be difficult for even a mentor to erase all that clutter of ideas that you've picked up from here and there. So please be careful how you carry out practice for psychological tests. All the best.